Yes, for the first animation I'm gonna react is why does my family hate me? Let's go.
Hey, Oddings! Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to really quickly tell you about one of our sponsors who, without them, the show would not be possible. If you're looking for a better night's sleep, I recommend that you try a Purple mattress. They're firm and soft at the same time because they're
Okay,
made
we
from
know,
a brand new
okay?
material developed by an actual rocket scientist. They keep you supported and still very comfortable at the same time. And they're breathable,
Bye,
so you
guys.
stay cool.
Actually,
So
bye.
if you want a better night's sleep, try Purple for a 100-night risk-free trial. If you're not fully satisfied, you can return your mattress for a full refund. Every mattress comes backed by a 10-year warranty and is shipped to your home for free. And while they're at it, Purple will set up and remove your old mattress for you as well. You're going to love Purple. And right now, our listeners will get a free Purple pillow with the purchase of a mattress. That's in addition to
Not
the great
bad.
free gifts they're offering site-wide. Just text SS to 84888. Message and data rates may apply. And now, back to the show. Hey, I'm Sapphire. Want to hear something scary?
Dun. What a dude.
My family hates me. The following story is based on a submission from Desiree. I used to think my family hated me. Maybe hate is a strong word, but I definitely did not feel particularly well liked. I was my parents' least favorite compared to my two younger sisters. They just never seemed to want to be around me or talk to me. They wouldn't even let me take care of our hamster, Lulu. I thought I was being paranoid, but my parents' cold demeanor became more apparent when we moved into a new house. They gave me the room at the very end of the hallway, secluded and removed from everything else. They claimed it was so I could have privacy, but I think they just wanted me far away. That room gave me the creeps. I remember the first night there, I woke up and heard hushed voices
You hear that?
echoing in the walls of my room. I couldn't make out
That is
everything
what?
they were saying, except for
My
my
God.
name, the many times it came up.
What is?
The next morning, I told my mom about the voices and that I thought the house might be haunted. He must have heard the pipes or something, she said dismissively, but I know what I heard. I also knew arguing with her wasn't going to go anywhere, so I decided to suck it up. I went to bed with such anxiety that night that I had an incredibly lucid and horrifying nightmare. I was strapped down to my bed, surrounded by dark figures who were chanting over and over, and I couldn't move or scream. I just laid there while these figures sprinkled me with unknown substances. The next morning at breakfast, I silently ate while my parents asked my sisters how school was going. Then Jamie, one of my sisters, turned to me. "Are you still hearing things at night, Sissy?" she asked. I was actually a little startled by the sudden attention on me. Yeah, and I actually had a pretty bad dream last night. Felt like there were people in my room or something. My sister then turned to look at my parents. I felt like they were telepathically talking about me right in front of me. Then Jamie spoke again. "Mom, you should give her that stuff to make her sleep better." My mom nodded. I was still taken aback by this sudden interest in helping me sleep better. So before bed that night, I swallowed the pill that my mom gave me. As an extra precaution, I gathered as many religious items from around the house, crucifixes, paintings, as many as my hands could carry, and put them in my room. I thought they would protect me from whatever was haunting me during my sleep. The following morning, I woke up in a panic. Everything I had put up the night before was now on the ground, shattered in pieces.
Dang,
I knew my parents were not going to be happy, but I also felt like this was proof that there was something in my room. So I ran to tell my parents. There must have been an earthquake during the night, I guess.
Wow, you don't believe a kid?
Nothing else in the house was broken. Only the religious items in my room. It didn't add up. I spent that whole day crying in my room. Before bedtime, Jamie came in with her hands cupped in a ball. She hopped on my bed and opened her hands. "Here, maybe Lulu will help you sleep tonight," she said. I glanced out the door and back at my sister. Is Mom okay with that? She doesn't have to know. I thanked my sister and lay down to bed, snuggling Lulu in my hands. When I woke up the next morning, Lulu had moved. I felt around my pillows and blankets, but I couldn't find her. I realized it was an idiotic idea to fall asleep like that with a tiny animal. I figured she must have run out of my room under the door in the middle of the night, so I went looking for her. The rest of my family was already up and in the middle of breakfast. I couldn't let them know I had lost Lulu, so I decided to continue my search after I had a couple bites. But after swallowing one spoonful of cereal, I spit it out onto the table. I suddenly felt incredibly nauseous. I began dry heaving over the table until I coughed up a small clump of brown fur. My family immediately stood up and began praying the Lord's Prayer. I felt dizzy and blacked out. When I came to, I was strapped on my bed with my family standing around me, sprinkling unknown substances all over me. What are you doing? Why do you hate me? I cried, frantically trying to release myself. The expressions of each of my family members turned to sadness. We don't hate you, Desiree, my dad said. We hate who you become at night. I don't understand. You've tried to kill each and every one of us in your sleep, my dad continued. Multiple times.
Oh my god.
We're trying to help you, sissy, Jamie chimed in. But nothing seems to be working. I didn't know what to think. This whole time, I thought that I was being traumatized by a demon in my room. And I was the demon. My family didn't hate me. They're just afraid of me. And I think I am too.
Dude, oh my god.
I get a lot of questions about what I wear and what equipment I use, so we've added helpful links for you to find those items and more in the description below.
I don't need what
Thank
you
you to
wear.
all of our patrons, especially Lulu, who had a character named after her in this episode.
Then their outro is so weird. She doesn't want to. I don't need to know what you wear. Seriously. Okay. Okay, for the second animation, I'm gonna react. Is let me see. Okay, not my lucky boy. Till then, was a part.
Happy New Year, Ottings. It's your Ate Sapphire. So, one of my New Year's resolutions is to make my health a top priority, which is why I'm excited that our first episode of 2019 is sponsored by Care of. It's an incredibly convenient way to take the vitamins and supplements you need. And if you're like me and aren't entirely sure what you need, Care of has an incredibly easy online quiz. It seriously only took me 5 minutes. It asked me about my diet, health goals, and lifestyle choices, and then made a scientifically backed recommendation. So for me, managing my stress and my sleep is really important to me, and Care of recommended rhodiola for my stress and magnesium for my sleep. I have a very busy schedule, so having my daily supplements in individual and personalized packets shipped right to my door is a huge time saver. And using Care of not only does good for your body, but for others too, because a portion of every sale goes toward the Good Plus Foundation, which provides expectant mothers in need with valuable prenatal vitamins. So join me in starting off the new year the right way. For 25% off your first month of personalized Care of vitamins, go to takecareof.com and enter the promo code SS.
Takecareof.com.
Hey, I'm Sapphire.
Money subscribing.
The missing ground. The following story is a new take on an old urban legend. There once was a couple, Daniel and Melinda, who seemed to be over the moon in love. One of the things that brought them together was their competitive nature. They liked to push each other to be the best versions of themselves. Of course, all the competitiveness was friendly and well-intentioned. It sometimes meant silly little games of tag here and there, or maybe some nights of hide and seek. They were both sort of adult children. After After many years, they became engaged and were off to the races, competing with each other to see who could find the best venue for the best price. But there was one point of tension in the relationship. Daniel was incredibly jealous of Melinda's best friend from childhood, Angelica. He was convinced that this so-called friend was in love with his bride-to-be, and she would try and sabotage the wedding by any means possible. Melinda always had to reassure him that he was overthinking things and that there was nothing to worry about. You have no reason to feel this way. Angelica is my oldest friend. Just
You're
tell me
right,
this,
man. She's
Daniel
jealous.
asked. Did you
I
ever
don't
have
understand.
feelings for her? Melinda paused. Yes, I have. But it was years ago. Please, you have to understand. Daniel wasn't happy with this answer. You have to uninvite her. Are you crazy? She's in my bridal party. I can't uninvite her. I honestly don't know if I can handle seeing her there. It's our wedding day. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be
please,
perfect.
uninvite her. Dude,
The couple stared at each other,
she
both
will.
silently
Otherwise, she'll
challenging
do
the other
it.
to give in first.
Whatever.
Melinda sighed. If that's what will make you happy, I'll talk to her. Months later, the day of the wedding arrived. The engaged couple had forgotten about their past arguments and were just happy that the day had come. Melinda ended up finding the best venue for the best price. Her parents' large and lavish Victorian mansion.
Oh, it looks like a
The
freaking
ceremony was going to
castle.
be held outside in the gorgeous gardens,
couldn't
and the
live
reception
there.
would take place inside. The guests were filing in and finding their seats, while Melinda was hiding from sight near the end of the aisle. Suddenly, Daniel appeared next to her. Danny, you're not supposed to see me here. Why is she here? You told me she wasn't going to come. Oh my God, she's sitting in the back. She's not in the bridal party anymore. You literally don't have to see or speak to her. Well, I did see her, and I just can't believe you'd do this to me. Really? You're gonna do this right now? At this point, the couple's voices were rising, causing the guests to turn and look over at them. Hey, you know what will be fun? Why don't we play a game of hide and seek with all the guests? That always cheers you up. And afterwards, I can talk to Angelica again. Deal? Daniel exhaled. I'm so sorry. I know I'm being ridiculous. I know that. I know she's important to you, and it's not fair of me to act this way. I love you. I love you too. Now let's play, albeit. The guests are all informed of the game of hide and seek before the ceremony, and they willingly participate. Melinda closed her eyes and began counting backwards from 30, and everyone
It's not gonna
scattered
end
to
well.
find a hiding spot. The property
Actually,
was
it's not gonna end
huge,
well.
so there was plenty of space. Ready or not, here I come. Melinda grew up in this house and knew every nook and cranny, so she had no problem finding everyone. Except for one person, the groom. So all the other guests began to help Melinda look for him. Melinda heard some people whispering that they thought Daniel might have gotten cold feet and ran away. After they searched the entire property, Melinda collapsed to the floor in tears. Angelica approached her. I know this isn't what you want to hear, but I think I saw Daniel running out the gates during the game. I mean, he could be coming back, but I don't know. I'm so
I think
sorry,
that's the
Mel.
fake news.
The wedding was clearly no longer happening, so the guests returned to their cars and headed home, while Angelica continued to comfort the bride. You're my best friend, and I will always be here for you.
So
Remember?
called best friend is jealous
She
of
held
him.
out her pinky finger.
Oh my god.
Together forever? The bride smiled, wiped the tears from her eyes, and hooked her pinky onto Angelica's and said, no matter whatever. Years went by. Angelica and Melinda became closer than ever. Memories of old crushes resulted in casual dates, which led to a surprisingly fast engagement. The wedding venue? Melinda's parents' Victorian mansion.
Same over there.
Melinda's parents felt a little strange that their daughter
Hold
would
on.
want to plan a wedding at the...
Wait, before I'll tell you what's gonna happen next. They're gonna find her boyfriend. That's gonna happen. Before I didn't even watch this, I'm just gonna tell you they're gonna find the boyfriend dead. 100% sure.
home again, but they just wanted her to be happy. So Angelica, Melinda, and her parents began to clean out the manor.
Seriously? We're doing
Melinda
a
went
video here, man.
upstairs to see if she could find some tablecloths and decor to use for the wedding. That's when she noticed a door. It wasn't there when she was a kid. Mom, was this door always here? Melinda shouted down the stairs to her mom, who replied, "Oh, we added that room a couple years ago for extra storage." Melinda opened it to find a very messy and dusty room filled with boxes and furniture. In the middle of the room was a large antique trunk. There was a lock with the key still inside. Curious, she turned it and hoisted the heavy lid with both hands. Immediately, a putrid stench seeped out through the open crack. As new air flew in, old air came out. She dropped the lid on the side and covered her nose. She peered inside, and her eyes went wide. The rotting corpse of a man, face stretched in anguish, lay battered and broken within the trunk. There were scratch marks highlighted with dried blood on the inside of the lid. The man's skin was leathery and stiff, just like the suit that hung across his gray flesh. The dusty and
I
rumpled
told
suit
you.
of Daniel.
I
Melinda heard
told
footsteps
you.
behind her. She turned around to find Angelica in the doorway. Angie, you said you saw him leave the property. You knew he was in here, didn't you? Angelica continued to stare, face devoid of all emotion. Angie, did you do this? We made a promise, Mel, and I wasn't going to let anyone get in between us. Don't you remember? She held out her pinky. Together forever, no matter whatever.
Okay.
Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to go to takecareof.com and enter the promo code SS for 25% off.
I'll
your
react
first
to one
month
more
of
animation,
personalized
guys. Yeah.
care. Want more something
Let's
scary?
react to one.
You can hear more stories over on the Something Scary podcast.
Pause the video, man. Okay, there's one more animation. Let's react to. Okay, it's Death by a Doppelganger. I don't know how this is sound. Let's see this video.
Hi, audience. It's your Ate Sapphire. After this episode, you can hear more
Find
stories
my
over on the
flies.
Something Scary podcast, available for free on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. The links are in the description below. Hey, I'm Sapphire.
This is scary.
At the drive-thru.
Inspired by Megan. Okay.
The following tale comes from Megan and is inspired by a real experience she had while working late one night. I used to work at a popular
Wait,
fast
what?
food chain. Emphasis on the used to.
Wait, hold the phone. She's a boy? Oh my fuck. Oh shit. She's a boy? Oh, he's a boy.
Following tale comes from Megan and is inspired by a real experience she had while working
Okay,
late
shit.
one night.
Like,
I used to work at a popular fast food chain. Emphasis on the used to. I had my share of wild interactions with customers, people yelling at me, people starting fights in the eating area. But as intense as those times were, nothing was as weird and unexplainable as this one night. The night that made me quit. This particular location was open for 24 hours, and I was working the overnight shift. It was just me and my manager, Stacy. Hey, I'm gonna take a nap in the break room. You got things under control, right? I trust you.
she didn't
And
even
with
say
that,
okay.
I was left alone behind the counter.
Okay.
I was pretty sleepy
whatever.
myself and decided to make some hot coffee to stay awake. A few minutes later, a man and a woman who appeared to be in their 20s walked in. They were wearing dark colors and lots of layers, almost like they didn't want to attract any attention. I threw on my best smile and greeted them. Welcome. I'll help you when you're ready.
Oh my god, you gotta
They
be
both
kidding me,
ignored me,
man.
which was pretty standard for most customers, so I didn't take any offense. I held my smile in place as I waited for them to decide what to order. But they
You
weren't
can
even
have your
looking
heart
at
up,
the menu.
kids.
They were sort of glancing around nervously, hands in their pockets. Oh God, I thought to myself, please don't rob me, please don't rob me, please don't rob me. I watched their hands and their faces closely. But the longer I stared at them, the less suspicious they became. They were scared. Is everything okay? The woman turned to me and smiled. Mm-hmm. She then walked over to a corner booth. The man stepped up to the counter. Could I get 2 large coffees, please? Of course. I'm brewing a new batch right now. I can bring it over to you when it's ready. The man paid for the drinks and slid into the booth with the woman. Once the coffee was ready, I walked it over to them. As I placed them on the table, a car pulled in. It looked like it was vintage, from the 50s or 60s maybe. That's a cool car, I casually commented. Is it blue? The man asked me anxiously. Yeah. Instantaneously, the couple slid underneath the table. We're not here. I was so confused at this point. Maybe they actually weren't scared at all, but just on a ton of drugs, I don't know. But I went back to the counter to wait for the new customers. But they never came. I heard a car honking loudly outside. I checked our camera feeds. That blue car was waiting in the drive-thru. But we barricade the entrance at night. Did they move it out of the way? I was pretty annoyed and was about to go to the intercom to tell them that the drive-thru is closed and that they needed to come inside. But the man and woman called me over. Whatever you do, you can't let them inside. They've been following us for days now. Oh my God, should I call the police? No. They won't be able to help. The people in that car, there are doppelgangers.
Oh my God.
I don't understand, and we don't expect you to. Look, for whatever reason, the versions of ourselves from another dimension or whatever have found us, and they're trying to replace us. Here.
Dude.
He handed me a small Ziploc bag filled with a mysterious substance. Whatever they
Cocaine.
ordered,
If you
put
need
all of
cocaine.
that in there. That
100%
should get rid of them
cocaine.
for a while, long enough for us to get out of here. You guys are messing with me, right? Because that's seriously not cool. You don't need to believe us. You just need to follow our instructions, please. I'm not gonna put whatever this is in a customer's food, and I don't even know who you are. Just take their order. If they look exactly like us, put that in their food. If not, then just leave them alone. The blue car was still honking outside. Seeing as I didn't really have much choice, I put the bag in my pocket and walked over to the intercom. I could see there were 2 people in the car, but the video quality wasn't clear enough to tell if they looked like the couple hiding in the booth. A man's voice ordered 2 large coffees. I told them to pull up to the window. I was feeling so many things in that moment. If they didn't look like the couple, then I just got pranked by a bunch of wackos in my restaurant. If they did look like the couple, I wasn't prepared for what that meant. The car pulled up, and in the driver's and passenger seats were a man and a woman who looked identical to the other couple. I went to pour their coffees.
Okay.
I took out the bag of the unknown substance.
I wish I had doppelganger.
Poured
Nothing
it in.
like that. I don't
I'm
like
gonna
that.
regret this, I thought to myself.
I wish I had.
I handed the altered coffees to the couple in the blue car and watched them drive away. I walked over to the couple in the booth. I poured that powder in their drinks. They're gone now. And to my complete surprise, they handed me a $100 bill. And then they left. I had completely forgotten that my boss was asleep this whole time, and I went to the break room to wake her up and tell her about what had happened. Of course she didn't believe me, so she played back the security footage. We see the first couple come in, order their food, and head to the booth. We see the blue car in the drive-thru, me talking with the first couple, and me handing the doppelgangers the spiked drinks. But what we don't see is the car leaving the drive-thru. So we decide to go outside and investigate. At the entrance of the drive-thru, all of the barricades were still up. Same for the exit of the drive-thru. No sign of anyone moving them or driving over them. At this point, my manager was just as freaked out as me. We decided to close early, and I quit the next morning. I think about that night a lot.
You quit your job for this? I wouldn't actually.
Maybe they were playing
This
a
is
weird
actually
prank
some
on me,
serious stuff,
and
man.
they were
I
twins.
won't actually quit.
But then how did the car get in and out of the blocked-off drive-thru? So, do parallel universes really exist?
No.
Are people's doppelgangers really trying to replace them?
Yes.
Would I ever run into mine? Want more Something Scary? You can hear 4 more stories over on the Something Scary podcast, available for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. The links are in the description below. If you'd like to submit a story, send me an email.
So guys, if you do enjoy this video, just smack the like button, guys, and also subscribe to my channel if you do. If you're new to my channel, it's just type Niven Bro in the YouTube section and subscribe right away. And follow me on Instagram, NivenYT9, and click the bell after you subscribe to get my daily videos coming up this weekend. It's all gonna be crazy videos. Yeah, so if you want this part 2 video of scary, related scary animations, I will do it. It could probably going to take me the next day, I think. Yeah, so stay tuned for that video. So I'm going to go. Peace out, boys. Wait.